Today I'm going to teach you how to transform your reality using just your mindset. And what most people don't realize is we're trying to constantly manipulate and change our external environment without actually thinking about the story we tell ourselves, which is the thing that can often create that thing in the first place. You see, the stories that we tell ourselves, our internal reality, our internal narrative, which is shaped from a lot of the time other people and other people's voices and other people's opinions, that creates this outer layer of thinking that that is actually our identity, when these things are actually not our identity. If you ever see a child in a superhero costume, that is our true self. That is your reality. It's just that somewhere along the line, people have put other ideas that have put you down or completely shaped who you think you are, when that could not be further from the truth. So what we need to do first is actually become aware of the stories that we tell ourselves by practicing thought observation. If you want to practice thought observation and start having this deeper level of awareness, the first thing you need to do is learn the skill of nothingness. So that means spending 2 minutes a day lying on the couch without your phone, without a book, without talking to anybody, going for a walk and noticing 3 new things every time you take a walk, noticing things in your environment, becoming more aware, because when we take these moments to pause, we start to notice what's happening in our minds. So even if I asked you now to start thinking about 5 limiting thoughts that you have about yourself, that you hold about yourself, that have probably come from external places throughout your life, I bet you could write down 5 now. And in fact, you can go ahead and do that. You can pause this video and write down 5, and that's going to give you a great idea as to the narrative you're telling yourself. Now, the narrative we tell ourselves creates our actions subconsciously, and our actions are the thing that creates our reality around us, which is exactly why changing your mind changes your life. All of the things that you have limits on for yourself become true because you create and support those limitations. We are constantly looking for things to support our beliefs. So if we have a belief that we're not good enough to go for XYZ job, that is true. You're going to make that true by not asking for the promotion, not putting yourself out there, not applying for the job that you think that you probably couldn't get right now, and all of those things, which is exactly why I'm showing you that your thoughts are the thing that create the reality. So in order to change our reality, we need to learn how to change our thoughts. And this starts with first, what I mentioned earlier, this self-awareness. So start to become aware of your thoughts. And then you're probably wondering, okay, but what am I doing with this bundle of thoughts? We're going to start to rewire and start to change and transform these thoughts into other things. So I need you to write next to all of those thoughts that you wrote down and thought about a new belief, something that feels supportive, something that feels encouraging, something that maybe even feels really far away from the truth and uncomfortable to say yourself. You're going to write a new thought next to each one of those. Once you have done that, you are going to practice saying them to yourself every single day. Say them in the mirror, write them down next to your bedside table, look at them when you first wake up, look at them before you go to bed, and literally start to rewire our brain. You need the repetition to rewire your brain. And trust me, what happens is when that becomes an actual belief, when we've said it to ourselves so many times, it starts to interrupt and change the existing old limiting belief. So the existing old limiting belief might come up, and you'll become aware of it, and then you'll be able to feed it something new and supportive. When we have these as beliefs, we take action to support and encourage that belief. So if we have a new belief saying, I am capable of creating the business that I have always dreamt about but keep quietening back down, what will happen is your actions will literally start to support that belief. So if you're like, why do I have all these beliefs, but I'm not taking action to do it all? I know what I need to do, but I just don't do it. It's because of that belief. So when you change that belief, the actions start to just come with ease. You start to just know what you need to do, and you start to do it with joy. You start to do it with love rather than force and rather than push. And when we do something with love and compassion and joy instead of push and force, the energy exchange with that thing is so impactful. You are going to create the business that you've been dreaming about, and it is going to be successful because you have shown to yourself that these actions are coming from a place of real belief in yourself rather than force, push, and judgment and shame. By the way, I am Katie and I am a mindset transformation coach and a yoga teacher, and I have been working with women all over the world for the last 5 years to transform their minds, their bodies, their nervous systems through online programs, through one-to-one work, and I have just launched my retreats. I have a retreat coming in Tuscany on the 30th of May 2026. This is a 4-day transformational self-development retreat where we're not just going to be doing yoga, we're going to be doing workshops way more in depth than what you've just watched, but in very similar ways, where we're going to have actionable things to actually start to transform your identity. If you are interested in that, you can check the link below, and I currently have an installment plan available for you to grab. So check that out and follow me along if this video resonates.